Hey everyone, today we're going to go over how to create an executive assistant. That is essentially all of these files that an agent has access to and help you build it upon it. So as you can see right here, I'm using this for roughly 1 month. So if we come here on research, we can see that I've been running some research every day since March 7th. As we can see, it started as a very simple boarding brief that has a top 5, just very straightforward research on the web. So it used it to find the top 5 news of the day and give me some ideas on what to post. As the time ran by, I started adding more stuff. So as we can see, in March 18, we already had something like a go check-in, pending work, business action today, things like that, and then start expanding upon it and creating more ideas. If you come here on today, it does a very more deep research compared on what it used to be, and create post ideas and even what to build, things like that. So it grew over time. And of course, this is just one skill. You can have multiple skills. So as we can see on the Claude folder, we see the skills right here, and we have a bunch of skills. This is just one of them. So it helps me to research, to do YouTube outlines, to do Instagram reels, to do some projects. Also, I give it some references to use my voice guide, my outreach system, my SOPs, examples of how I talk, and the analytics of my content. And of course, it builds a lot of stuff for me, like carousels and repurpose content. Reels not so much. I'm actually still working on it. Thumbnails, and it basically runs on the system, so it has a memory. It has some context, so the goals, who am I, my team, what I'm working on, what are the current priorities. So yeah, and this is something that you can run with any AI agent. So Claude Code, Codex, Open Code, and we're going to go over how to build a system like this that auto improves himself and uses skills dedicated to your use case. And over time, you see that you will gain a lot of productivity using AI. And of course, the agents just get better, so you can essentially do more and more stuff over time. And the more context you give it, the more powerful it is. So let's set this up. So if you haven't used anything like this, so you're not familiar with VS Code, you're not familiar with the terminal, there is no problem. I'm going to go over the whole setup today. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to open up your browser and search for VS Code. And here you have it, Visual Studio Code. You're going to download it and install it. So this is just an IDE. There is a platform to develop code, to write stuff and view stuff. So as we can see right here, we can see the contents of a folder, and then we can see the text inside of each file. So this is very straightforward, not complicated at all. And let's start a brand new one. So let's start Visual Studio Code. And you're going to get something like this. After you have Visual Studio Code installed, we're going to install Claude Code. So you're going to search for Claude Code. And of course, I'm also going to teach you guys how to run this for free using Open Code. So we can look for Open Code, even Codex, and even using Olama. So we can search for Olama. So here we have the Claude Code. Here we have the Claude Code command that is this one. So I'm using Windows, so Windows PowerShell, and then we just copy this, and then we come to VS Code. And the first thing you're going to want to do is open a folder. Just create a folder with the name assistant or something like that. And then we select the folder, and here we have it. The folder is empty right now. And then we're going to run this new terminal right here. So let's maximize this. And then we come here to terminal, new terminal. And then we can see this terminal right here. And this is basically to run the commands. So we just copied this command right here. So Windows PowerShell or CMD. And we can see we're using PowerShell right here. And then we're going to paste it. And you can paste it using Ctrl V or the right button for your mouse. And then we're going to install it. And of course, there are some requirements that you should already have installed. That is the Git and Node.js. but this is very straightforward. Just look up for Git and Node.js and install it. You will download their installer and just install it. And right here we have open code, so we can run this on npm. So npm install g open code AI, and then we can start right here, new terminal, and then run this. And this is going to run in parallel, so both of these are running at the same time. And we also are going to use Codex CLI, that is the ChatGPT one. Just copy this and then run it just like the open code one. Just run it right here. And of course, I recommend you guys to use Claude Code, but Codex is also great if you want. If you do have a ChatGPT subscription, and if you don't have a Claude Code subscription, it has a free tier, so you can essentially use for free for a little bit. And Open Code is completely free, and Claude Code isn't free. Is the one that you have to pay for Claude subscription, or you can use something like Ollama. So we're gonna try it out with Ollama today. So everything is installed, and to run each one, it is simply just run Claude. And then yes, I trust this folder, and this is going to initialize Claude Code with Sonnet 4.6. And if you are not logged in, it's going to ask you for login and things like that. But we're not going to use that today. And open code, it is open code. So it is going to start open code. In open code, you can do Control P or just /models to switch the model. And as you can see, it has a bunch of free models. So Qwen 3.6 is free right now. Nemotron 3 Super is free. Minimax M2.5 is free, and Big Pickle is also free. And you can run it also with Google models that also has a free tier with them. So yeah, this is a very good option if you want to run things for free. And Codex, of course, you just type Codex and then enter, and here you have it. The Codex also, just like Claude Code, is going to ask you to authenticate with your ChatGPT subscription, and you can change the model as /model, so you can have ChatGPT 5.4 or 5.4 mini, 5.3 Codex. So this is also an option. Another option is to run it with Ollama using Claude Code, and you can run it on Codex or Open Code or even OpenClaw, as we can see right here. And then we just copy this link right here to run Ollama launch Claude model Gemma 4 and paste it right here, and it's going to start Ollama with Claude. If you don't have Ollama installed, you just need to download it and install it. This is also very straightforward. You can just paste this on your PowerShell to install it, and then it's going to pull the model from the cloud and start it. So actually we've got an error right here, so I need to download the latest version of Ollama. So this is a great opportunity to show you guys. Just copy this and paste it right here, and then it's going to update the Ollama. And I know that this is quite a lot to take if you aren't a developer and aren't familiar with it, but this is all just straightforward stuff, just installation of Visual Studio Code, installation of Claude Code, Open Code, Codex, and Ollama. So just the setup process for using these tools. And you don't need all of them, you just need one of them. So essentially, if you have a Claude Code subscription, just go with Claude Code. And if you want to try out Open Code or Codex, you can just download it later and then test it later. You don't need to install everything at once. Okay, so you just finished installing Ollama, and then we're going to copy this command right here that uses Gemma 4, that is the new Google model, and paste it right here. And then it's going to download Gemma 4. Oops. Actually, so we have to be careful right here, because since Gemma 4 is an open source model, it will attempt to download the model itself, that is 9.6 gigabytes, and you gotta have a pretty beefy PC computer to run this. And I just want to run this on the cloud, so using my tokens. So you can also this is also an option if you have a BTPC and want to run a model locally. you can do that, and there's no limit, of course. So let me just run this command with 31B Cloud, and as you can see right here, GML4 31B Cloud. Then I'm going to paste a custom prompt, that is the setup prompt, so 167 lines plus, that separates the entire onboarding process of the system. And this prompt will be available to you in the description below. This is going to ask us to create some stuff, so the folder structure, the onboarding interview, and populate some things. And just to be sure, this prompt actually is for Claude specifically. So if you want to change it, just change whatever is Claude to your agent. Okay, so it is going to ask to create a bunch of stuff. So as you can see right here, it already creates a .claude with rules and skills, archives, context, decisions, learnings, projects, references, and templates. Okay, so it started on the onboarding interview. So it started asking me for my identity, who am I, what's my role, what my time zone, what do I do, and what is my top one priority. So let's just fill this in. So okay, so as for the questions, I just ask everything in a single paragraph. So Gustavo, you're an influencer, GMT -3, I create valuable content about AI. My top one priority is to grow my YouTube channel, helping people to use AI. And let's just let's go to the next section. So this is a pretty lengthy process, and it started a new section, so I'm going just to go through them. Okay, so I just finished talking to it and answering all his questions, so all the sections right here, and then it started writing down everything. So there seems to be an error while writing the file. So even after erroring, it read and saw that it didn't wrote anything, and then it just fixed itself. So as you can see right here, it just wrote everything on every file with all the content that I provided. And of course, you're going to answer everything that it needs. So it has the best ideal context to help you to grow your business or achieve your objectives. And as you can see right here, this is the Claude.md, and this is what it runs every time. So every message that you send, this goes with it, so it has access to this data every time that you talk to it. So this is the most important file, and here we have it, the full setup. And after the setup is completed, it is already starting to asking me how can you help me to grow my channel. So you can essentially do anything right here. So if you want to connect with your YouTube channel, just like I did in my case, you can do it. So I'm just going to ask to start, what can you build to help me automate things? And what kind of content is best for my channel specifically? So already it gave me some 4 ideas on what it can do for me, and this is very interesting. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to create skills to consistently get the same results every time. So as you can see right here, it suggested an ideation engine. That is, I can create a structured database in your projects folder to track trending AI topics, hooks, and a content pipeline. So it doesn't know it can create a skill for this. So it would be nice to have a skill that does the same research every time to keep things in check. So I've just written, okay, let's implement idea 1, the ideation machine, create a skill that you run periodically to keep news in check. And I also added this section right here, and also add a section of self-improvement inside the skill. Whenever I give you feedback after the skill use, you should at least try to improve the skill. So this is something very important, that sometimes you just forget to tell it to update the skill. So it uses the skill, it gives you some kind of data, and you kind of liked it, but it should be a little better, and then you say to it what could be better, but it doesn't actually update the skill itself, it just updates the results. So it should always update the skill, so that every time the skill runs again, it is better. So this is a very important topic. And then it entered in the plan mode to start the designing and implementation of the skill. And of course, as you start using it a little more, you're going to learn how to improve the skill itself. So if you just run some Google searches, you can then start running some searches on dedicated websites for research, start using dedicated tools for research like Perplexity, and even you can start calling other tools for many other things like image creation and things like that. And it just created the plan right here. So okay, so this is a very interesting plan that he created. So the research is essentially just web search and web fetch, looking for the latest news on the last 7 days, and then create a separate findings for shorts and long form videos. And then it's going to ask me for feedback on the quality of the ideas. So this is very important because most of the times you don't use all of the ideas that it brings to us, but it is important that we guide it to bring more valuable ideas that we find as valuable. So this feedback is very, very important. And it also creates the self-improvement mechanism. So you can just tell it to yes, auto accept edits, and it will create its skill. And you can essentially create any skill for anything like video generation, image generation, like the ideas that it gave me, scripting generation and things like that. You can give your own voice. You can essentially run proposals generations right here. You can run, if you are on health, you can give diets to patients. You can automate workout planning, things like that. So, and even document processing. So you can understand, you can just create a folder for the documents, and then you just throw the stuff inside of it, and you trigger the AI to read the documents and extract the data. So all of this is possible and very interesting to use it. And it is essentially a intern that you have right here. So an intern with the capacity of a senior. So you can basically just teach it to be a senior and even a mentor if you'd like. So yeah, I'm currently using it as I showed before on the beginning, and this is very valuable. And if you want to try it out, this is essentially for free. So, and as we can see this, I just ran this command on using Llama, and we can see right here, it is currently on 0%. I think Gemma 4 is just free right now. I don't really know if it is essentially free or just very cheap. And it seems to be a very good model. It didn't lose track of the things that we talked about. I don't know for coding or for any other tasks, but it seems pretty good. And if it isn't enough, you have plenty of other options like codecs and other models right here, such as Minimax 2.7, Qwen 3.5. And another very important thing is that when you use Claude Code, it reads the claude.md file and the .claude. So if you want to use OpenCode or codecs, you're gonna want to create a copy of this Claude file and call it agents. So agents.md file. So it is essentially the same thing, but this is for Claude and this is for other agents like OpenCode and Codex, and the same thing on this folder. So we just create a copy and then rename it to .agents, and then OpenCode and Codex we will have access to. And if you want to double check if your agent has access to everything, you can just come here on OpenCode or Codex and type /skills, and we will show every skills that it has access to. And as you can see right here, it has access to ideation machine. I have a lot of other skills right here that are running on my local machine and not on this folder specifically. But yeah, and the same thing on Codex. So we can just write /skills and then type ideation. And you can see right here, the skill itself is right here. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys learned something from this. And as I said before, I'm using it myself and I find it very valuable. And it doesn't really matter the initial prompt so much. You just need to understand this kind of structure right here. So the .md files for your agent, and then the claude.md that tells your agent what where things are, like where are the memories and the documentation right here. And as you can see right here, it just created this ideation machine right here on the claude.md, telling it to, saying that it has access to this skill right here and the objective of the skill. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it, and I see you guys on the next video.